Triple H reportedly has plans for shocking returns. We've got a big update on WWE and AEW's TV deals, and WWE reportedly has no plans for a top prospect. Stay tuned to find out who it is. All right, kicking things off straight away with the news of Triple H planning more just shock WWE signings by the sounds of things. Wrestling Observer reported that they were told that Paul Levesque had some surprises coming who are not people being currently talked about. Now, this could mean any number of things. This could be call-ups, this could be people from outside companies, this could be entertainers, this could be anything. But if you were to kind of just distill it down to wrestlers and kind of mainline it. Let's go wrestlers.
Shocking wrestlers.
Recently we've seen Dexter Lumis, Dakota Kai, Johnny Gargano, Braun Strowman, Hit Row, Karrion Kross. There's some other rumored names like Sasha Banks, Naomi, Bray Wyatt, and Bronson Reed. But I think, Sasha, Naomi, and Bray, they're all being talked about.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed's somebody I could definitely see coming back and making a big impact.
He was one of those guys that it seemed like Triple H was really behind in NXT.
I couldn't believe when they cut him. I could not believe when they cut him.
He's had a North American Championship run, and he was looking like he was going to get that big push, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, he's gone from the company.
It's just that
hell of a
size,
year.
that speed, that technique. He ticked so many boxes.
Yeah.
I get that maybe he didn't fit the body type or whatever of the traditional mold, but that's what made him exciting. And I think that variance in talent and somebody like Jonah would make such an impact.
He's been in New Japan recently. I think he was doing some New Japan Strong stuff since he left WWE. He's done some stuff in Impact. He's been all over the place. I feel like it is about time he comes back to WWE for a wee bit, but there's so many more names. I feel Bobby Fish might be one of the guys that goes back to WWE. Maybe not. I see him becoming a trainer for the company.
I can see Bobby Fish for sure one day, somebody with his skill set, passing that on would be invaluable. But I'm just a big fan of Bobby Fish. To be any excuse to see him wrestle
again. He is great. But I'm really obviously this is a tough story to sort of discuss because it's people that aren't being talked about, and it's well, who are they? We want to talk about them. I could see him raiding some of Impact, getting some of the talents from there. Jordan Grace, potentially. I know she's
Jordan
under
Grace
contract,
would be, that would be a very, very major signing, I think.
Mike Bailey as well. We know in the past that Triple H has been interested in him, so perhaps I'd like to see him. There's so many people.
There are, and then if you look back historically, they've apparently been, Triple H in particular has been interested in Sanada in New Japan, in Rush, who's obviously under contract with AEW now. So it could be even further afield than just the American major market.
You're bang on there. Whatever it is, it's a very exciting time to be a fan of WWE.
Yeah. Moving to the other side of the fence, though, we've got some sort of weird news concerning AEW talent John Moxley and Atsushi Onita. This comes again from The Observer, but Onita is apparently very interested in doing an explosive barbed wire death match in the United States with John Moxley. As always, it's apparently quite a political thing. Moxley is able to do and does do select independent dates that have been approved by AEW, but it's one thing to go out there and wrestle a really hard-hitting, bloody, slobber knocker of a match. Yeah. It's another thing entirely when it's exploding barbed wire, death match.
It doesn't scream safe, does it? No.
But so that's kind of the question that's in the air right now. Onita would obviously apparently be willing to do it in AEW, and the last time he was in the US he sent feelers out about being willing to work with AEW and getting on AEW TV. As a big name as he was in the 90s, it has been 30 or so years since he was that kind of top level name. But the Observer says they don't know how at his age and with his limitations that AEW would realistically be interested in putting it on, and if they wanted to do it, which Tony Khan has apparently said he would like to do again, why would they put Onita in there basically when they could have their own talent?
They've got their own talent that could quite easily fill that spot.
It's a bit of a shame. I'd like to see Onita do a big old exploding match over in the States with a large crowd. I'd like to see how it panned out.
I feel if it's going to be anywhere, it will be GCW.
They'd need somewhere like a stadium or something.
Yeah, it's not an indoor venue.
You need somewhere where all of that can clear. Because that inside has got to be dreadful.
I mean, as we saw, the last one that AEW held was Revolution 2021.
2021 or 20...
And it was a little bit of a disappointment purely because of the ending. But
yeah, but it was sort of one of those production things where it all just kind of went wrong. AEW had a bit of egg on their face.
Yeah.
And it was
I feel that
the
type of match that Onita wants is definitely not going to end like that one.
No, I think it would end more... I don't... Yeah, it'd look like something out of an action movie. Michael Bay should direct it. That's what we should bring Michael Bay in. Just a real quick one while we're on the topic of the Observer here. There's a little update on Ibushi. Just the latest update on him is apparently that his shoulder is starting to slowly heal up. So, you know, that recovery window is... it has kicked in.
It's closing. He's getting closer.
The days are potentially numbered that we may see him return if he is going to return. And yeah, it's sort of everything's looking up a little bit.
He looked very happy in the photos that were shown on Twitter with him and Kenny Omega reuniting, golden lovers once again. I really hope we see him in AEW and his shoulders all healed.
I think we might. I think we might just.
There's so many matches, so many dream matches. Oh,
keeping it with AEW though, we're going to move over to the latest on the CM Punk Elite backstage fracas. Wade Keller of PW Torch has reported that the silence on what happened backstage after All Out will break very soon. It'll be broken this week.
Soon. It's a weird one because it's the latest on the story.
Yeah,
but there's more coming very soon.
It's sort of like, hey, just pop a pin in it. There's going to be more news soon, guys.
Yeah.
But he said, I will say I'm expecting the silence to end soon as far as this goes. So keep your ear to the ground. I will say there should be a breaking of the silence on the issue. I'll put it that way. Probably this week, but by early this week. Probably this week, but by early this week. But I think most likely this week. That is, yep.
So it's a very wordy statement. This
week, which appears 3 times in that sentence. AEW are yet to publicly acknowledge the backstage fight and suspensions, despite CM Punk and the Elite being stripped of their championships on the post All Out Dynamite.
Yeah, so the AEW haven't said a thing about this publicly. That although they have stripped the former champions off the belts, Punk and the Elite, they've not actually ever acknowledged what happened. They've not actually.
They're gonna hold a big press conference. Everybody's gonna turn up, and then they're gonna walk out, shake hands, and be like, "Way,
we worked you." I feel like they need to address it at some point because otherwise it's going to turn into like MJF doing wink, wink at the audience and being like, "Look, this happened." Be transparent. Tell us what happened. Tell us who's suspended, because they've again also not said who's suspended properly officially from them. It's all come down through other sources. I hope we find out more very soon. We will keep you updated on cultaholic.com and here on YouTube.
So just one little interesting tidbit about AEW and WWE's TV deals here now, and this is a report from The Hollywood Reporter, and it revealed that there could be plans for Warner Brothers Discovery to merge with NBC Universal. Now, Warner Brothers Discovery currently broadcast AEW via TNT and TBS, while NBC Universal broadcast WWE Raw via the United States network, and they own Peacock. So the service that the WWE network is on could be merged with Warner Brothers Discovery and, well, not HBO Max, because that's getting booted out the window. There could just be one big wrestle app. Could you imagine?
Oh man, that fight. We'll get them all in there, but like this is crazy. Like I don't feel like this will go ahead knowing sort of stuff about companies, and they've got to go through the antitrust, all those sort of tests. But Warner Brothers Discovery has just merged themselves. Merging with NBC Universal, that's massive.
It's just the way it tends to go, like especially in US media, like conglomerates and like companies just having many subsidiaries. It just seems to be the way. Like it feels that companies just merge all the time. So as you said, there's a lot they've got to get through before they merge. But if this merger does happen, then AEW and WWE's TV broadcasting rights will be under one roof. Yeah,
and it'll be really interesting to see if AEW still doesn't have like a streamer or a streaming partner. It'll be really interesting to see if if this goes ahead, if they get put on Peacock, if they keep Peacock, or if they keep Discovery Plus in America. Over here, it's a little bit different. The rights don't really affect us too much. But that would be quite wild to have the 2 biggest wrestling companies in the United States broadcast on the same network or same company's channels. That's
so
crazy.
I think that the channels probably won't change at all. We're not going to see like one big channel where it all happens, but it'll largely stay the same as most things do after companies are bought out. But it's sort of, it's just an interesting little tidbit.
Keep your eyes on it.
And finally, we're moving on to some it's just sort of strange news. This. WWE reportedly have zero plans for a top signing prospect. So this comes from The Observer, and it concerns Gable Steveson. So there were some questions, apparently, because he's not in Orlando, as all the other prospects are. He's not in the current plans or on the list of talent to be used right now. He's still under contract and hasn't left Minnesota. One can speculate that maybe he's going for another year of college wrestling. Although if that was the case, that should have come out any week now, since the season starts in a few months. He had talked about it and is training with Ken Anderson, the former Mr. Kennedy. So, it's a weird one because, in particular, with the signing of Gable Steveson, WWE really rolled out the red carpet. They really, really went ham with the promotion of his signing. They got him on the next in line deal.
Yeah. They drafted him to Raw. He's an official member of the Raw roster.
He's made appearances, on shows. He's been featured in cameo spots. And the company were really heavily promoting him. Obviously, Pan American gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist, many, many, many more accolades to his name. But yeah, for whatever reason, not currently factored in. It could be that he is going back for that extra year, but he could also be one of those surprises that nobody's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like if his brother seems to be getting a bigger push in NXT at the moment. Obviously, he seems to be taking to it very quickly and has moved over from amateur wrestling. But Gable Steveson, he's an Olympic gold medalist. It's no surprise he wants to continue with his collegiate wrestling.
I'd read that there were some overtures to the MMA world there potentially as well. So it could be that Gable Steveson has a lot of things on the table right now to go over and have a look through, and maybe we'll find out in the coming weeks, especially if he is going to be going back for that extra year of college wrestling. As Dave said, it should have really been announced by now, but it could be a late announcement, I guess. But once that season starts, if he's not there, then we know that that's not on the cards, so whittle one thing off.
It's very strange. He was sort of touted as the next Kurt Angle when they signed him. They were like, oh, we've got this Olympic medalist that's going to be the next guy that we get behind. They were wanting him in, as we reported previously, he was getting a spot with Triple H at WrestleMania before Triple H's health issues. That's crazy. They were going to put him such a big spot and put him over. And it's kind of been, it has been a disappointment. He's just nowhere to be seen.
There had been, talks that he, because obviously college and everything, he's gonna be off campus anyway. So that part's not really surprising to me. He's not in Florida, but it's an interesting one all the same. But that is it for your second dose of lovely bumper weekend wrestling news. We'll be back in a little bit if there's any more major news that breaks, but if not, have a lovely weekend. Check out Fraser's first video. Give him tell him what it's about. Give him a flavor and
the worst shows ever. We're talking about the worst shows ever, and this time it's the King of the Ring 1995, which, oh my God, it's bad. It is just so dreadful. Like oh my God, you watch it and then watch the video and then decide whether you want to sit through it, because it was painful.
Every time I see that show, every time I see it, it's like, oh, I'm never watching that again. And then I'll go through a period of time where I'm like, it can't be as bad as I remember.
Oh, mate, it's
and then terrible. You go back to it and it's like, oh, it was just an off night for them.
Oh,
a real off night for them.
It is an off night. It was an off month, off couple months, off year. Oh my God, it was bad. But go and watch the video, which is, I must say, is very good. Luke did a fantastic job on the edits. Go and show it some love, and let me know what other shows you think we should talk about that are the worst shows ever. But we'll see you soon, eh? Have you got anything to plug yourself?
Nah.
No.
Tatty bye.